If you wish to love, you must learn to see again. And if you wish to see, you must give up your drug. As simple as that. Give up your dependence. You must tear away from your being the tentacles of society that have penetrated to the marrow. You must drop out. Externally, everything will go on before. You will continue to be in the world, but will no longer be of it. Because in your heart, you will now be free at last and utterly alone. It is only in this aloneness, in this utter solitude, that dependence on your drug will die. Incidentally, aloneness means not having the company of people. It means not depending emotionally anymore. For this aloneness, you don't go to the desert. You're right in the middle of people. You're enjoying them immensely. But they no longer have the power to make you happy or miserable. That's what aloneness means. So, in this solitude, your dependence dies and the capacity to love is born. For one no longer sees others as means of satisfying one's addiction. Can you imagine a life in which you refuse to enjoy, to take pleasure in a single word of approval and appreciation? Or to rest your head on anyone's shoulder for support? A life in which you depend on no one emotionally, so no one has the power to make you happy or miserable anymore. You refuse to need any particular person or to be special to anyone or to call anyone your own. Even the birds of the air have their nests and the foxes their holes. But you will have nowhere to rest your head in your journey through life. If you ever get to this stage, you will at last know what it means to see with a vision that is clear and unclouded by fear or desire. Every word there is measured. To see at last with a vision that is clear and unclouded by fear or by desire. And you will know what it means to love. But to come to the land of love, you must pass through the pains of death. For to love persons means to have died to the need for persons and to be utterly alone. How would you ever get there? By a ceaseless awareness, by the infinite patience and compassion that you would have for a drug addict, by developing a taste for the good things of life, to counter the craving for your drug. What good things? The love of work, which you enjoy doing for love of itself, the love of laughter, and intimacy with people to whom you do not cling and on whom you do not depend emotionally, but whose company you enjoy. It will also help if you undertake activities that you can do with your whole being. I just said that. Activities that you so love to do that while you are engaged in them, success or recognition or approval simply do not mean a thing to you. It will help too if you return to nature. Send the crowds away, go up into the mountains, and silently commune with trees and flowers and animals and birds, with sea and clouds and sky and stars. Remember I told you yesterday what a spiritual exercise it is to gaze at things, to be aware of things around you. Hopefully, the word will drop, the concept will drop, and you will see, and you will make contact with reality. That is the cure for loneliness. Generally, we seek to cure our loneliness through emotional dependence on people and through gregariousness and noise. That is no cure. Get back to things. Get back to nature. Go up into the mountains. Then you will know that your heart has brought you into the vast desert of solitude. There is no one there at your side. Absolutely no one. At first, this will seem unbearable, but it is only because you are unaccustomed to aloneness. But if you manage to stay there for a while, the desert will suddenly blossom into love. Your heart will burst into song. And it will be springtime forever. It really will. The drug is out. You're free. Then you will understand, my dears, what freedom is, what love is, what happiness is, what reality is, what truth is, what God is. You will see, you will know, beyond those concepts, beyond your conditioning, beyond your addictions and your attachments. An attachment destroys your capacity to love. What is love? Love is sensitivity. Love is consciousness. To give you an example, I'm sitting here listening to a symphony. If all I hear is the sound of the drums, I don't hear the symphony. What is a loving heart? A loving heart is one that is sensitive to the whole of life, to all persons. A heart that doesn't harden itself to any person or thing. But the moment you become attached, in my sense of the word, then you're blotting out many other things. You've got eyes only for the object of your attachment. You have ears only for the drum. The heart has got hardened. Moreover, it has got blinded because you no longer see the object of your attachment objectively. You cannot be objective anymore. Love entails clarity of perception, objectivity. There is nothing so clear-sighted as love. Does that make sense? Let me end this with a lovely story. There was a guy who invented the art of making fire. So he took these tools with him and went to a tribe up in the north where it is very cold, bitterly cold. And he taught the people how to make fire. The people were interested. And he showed them the uses to which you could put fire to. You could cook, you could keep yourself warm, etc. My, they were so grateful. They learned the art of making fire, but before they could express their gratitude to the man, he disappeared. He wasn't concerned about getting their recognition or their gratitude. He was concerned about their well-being. And he went to another tribe, where again he began to show them the value of his invention. And people were interested there too, a bit too interested for the peace of mind of their priests, who began to notice that this man was drawing the crowds and they were losing their popularity. So they decided to make away with him, which they did. They poisoned him. They got rid of him. They stoned him. They crucified him. Put it any way you like. But they were afraid now that the people might turn against them. So they were very wily. You know what they did? They had a portrait made of the man, and they mounted it upon the main altar in the temple. And those instruments for making fire were placed there in front of the portrait. And people were taught to revere the portrait and to pay reverence to those instruments of fire, which they dutifully did for centuries. The veneration and the worship went on, but there was no fire. Where's the fire? Very religious. Where's the fire? Where's the love? Where's the drug uprooted from your system? Where's the freedom? This is what spirituality, this is what religion is all about. Tragically, we tend to lose sight of it, don't we? This is what Jesus Christ is all about. But then we overemphasized the Lord, Lord, didn't we? Where's the fire? And if worship isn't leading to the fire, if adoration isn't leading to love, if the liturgy isn't leading to clearer perception of reality, if God isn't leading to light, of what use is it? Except to create more divisions, more fanaticism, more antagonisms, etc. And so awareness. It is not from lack of religion in the ordinary sense of the word that the world is suffering, and you know that. It is from lack of love, lack of awareness. And love is generated through awareness. No other way. No other way. When the heart is unobstructed, the result is love. When the mind is unobstructed, the result is wisdom. Understand the obstruction and it will drop. Understand the obstacles you are putting to the way of love and freedom and happiness, and they will drop. Turn on the light of awareness, and the darkness will disappear. Happiness is not something you acquire. Love is not something that you produce. Love is not something that you have. Love is something that has you. You do not have the wind and the stars and the rain. You don't possess these things. You surrender. And surrender occurs when you are aware of your illusions, when you are aware of your addictions, when you are aware of your desires and fears. And so I told you this morning, first, psychological insight. That's a great help. Not, as I will tell you at the end of this lecture, not analysis. Analysis is paralysis. And I'll explain that to you. Insight isn't necessarily analysis. One of your great American therapists put it very well. He said it is the aha experience. Merely analyzing me gives me no help. It just gives me information. But if you could produce the aha experience, that's insight. That is change. Then, the understanding of your addiction. You need time. Alas, so much time that is given to worship and to singing praises and to singing psalms could so fruitfully be employed in self-understanding. Community, my dear, is not produced by joint liturgical celebrations. You know deep down in your heart, and so do I, that they only serve to paper over differences. Community is created by understanding the blocks that we put to community, by understanding the conflicts that arise from our fears and our desires. Then community arises. We must always beware of making worship yet another distraction from the important business of living. And living doesn't mean working in the foreign ministry, as we call it in India, or working in government, or being a big businessman, or doing great acts of charity. That isn't living. Living is to have dropped all the impediments and to live in present moment freshness. Look at the birds of the air. They do not toil and spin. That is living. Come alive. You're dead. I began by saying people are asleep. People are dead. Dead people running governments, dead people doing big business, dead people educating others. Come alive. Lots of people gain the world and lose their soul. Lots of people live empty, soulless lives because they're feeding themselves on popularity, on appreciation, on praise, on I'm okay, you're okay, on look at me, attend to me, support me, value me, on being the boss, on having power, on winning the race. You feed yourself on that, you're dead. You've lost your soul. Feed yourself on other, more nourishing material. Then you'll see the transformation.